for me, cover bands and tribute bands are amazing, right? I'm not trying.
I'm
not trying to diss them.
There's talent to it.
It's it becomes the over-generated stuff, like
Absolutely.
the top 40 of 70s, 80s, 90s, and the regurgitation of it over and over again. I was like, wow, this is a competition. This is the competition here.
Absolutely.
Not new up-and-coming original bands. The men, right?
Is it a dive bar? Do you like those?
Yeah.
If it is, yes, we are. Believe it or not, it just happened last night.
There
You go. You asked for a good story. Pauly's like, I got one less than 24 hours old.
I worked for Neil Diamond one time. Right?
Really?
And I did Spotlight for him. Diamond. How do you know you're at a Neil Diamond concert?
How?
The first 3 rows smell like piss.
Welcome to the Cam and Joe Show. My name is Joe with my good friend Cameron.
What's going on, big dog? How are you, bud?
Fantastic. I'm super happy about our guest today.
Likewise.
This is going to be amazing.
I'm excited to dive in.
And I got, so deep dive on this really quick. Everyone thinks his last name is on-off.
Yep.
On-off. It's not. It's Dailey. We got Pauly Dailey from Hooligans Bar. What's up, my man?
What's happening?
What's up, big dog?
Thanks for having us.
You got it, man.
So
Happy you're here.
lead singer of a band, and also an amazing pub that you opened up 6 months ago,
Restaurant,
right?
Yeah, 6 months back.
Tell us.
Well, Hooligans, Yuba City, Irish bar. It was a wild dream of mine for a long time. And I did it because I'm in a band and my other 2 members just became young dads. And we were on tour last year. I feel like we were in Texas somewhere, and they were like, we need some time off. And I was like, well, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And a good friend of mine said to me, why don't you try open a bar? And I was like, well, let's try.
Yeah.
It only takes one person to tell you.
Absolutely.
And it came about really quick, actually. And I found a spot. I was actually looking for a different place on Plymouth, beside Linda's. Used to be Cellar and Suds.
Yep.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that didn't work out. And then Justin's Kitchen became available. And I've always loved that place. And Justin's a good friend as well, a great guy. And,
love it.
But it changed hands. And then I bought it. I didn't purchase Justin's Kitchen, but I just opened up a new business.
Yeah.
So it's been wild. Like, the bar is great. I think Yuba City needed a place where they could let loose. That's not like
A sports bar.
a sports bar or just a restaurant, you know.
Sure.
With the band touring around Europe and touring around America, you meet lots of people and you go and play and perform in lots of places. And I think all the things, when we tour as an Irish band, the first thing we think of is, where's the Irish bar? Because we want a pint of Guinness.
Absolutely.
And like, I go all over America, I'd find these little bodunk Irish bars, middle of nowhere, and we'd feel at home straight away. So
I love that.
I just felt like we didn't have a place like that in Yuba City.
Yeah.
Even though we've Dowers, great Irish bar,
Yeah.
but it's American as well. You know?
Correct.
It's the standard dive American bar with an Irish name.
Yeah.
Sure.
Love the owners, but then we have the pub up the street,
Yeah.
which I call the English bar now, just for the fun of it.
There you go.
But great bar, and I was super happy when they were opening, and I was, great, we're going to have this Irish bar, but it didn't have a stage.
Yeah.
And me being a musician, I was like, I was bummed
stage.
about it. Yeah, I wish I had a stage, so I was a little bit let down with that. And so when the opportunity came with Hooligans, I had to have a stage.
Yeah.
That was the main thing. So I finally achieved it.
Yeah.
Which is wild. But it's for the people. It's not for me. I'm not in it for money. I'm in it so people can come and have a place.
Yeah.
Friend of mine said to me last night, he goes, man, you've actually achieved it. Like, what you wanted with this bar, you wanted a place where people can come and just be friendly.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows someone there. So it's like you're walking into your grandmother's.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
That sense of home right when you get there.
It has it
and
all,
familiarity.
Which
I love
that's
that.
all I want. And my 2 kids, are 9 and 6. They go to school here. you know, when they come in, they eat and they're happy. They're sweeping the floors. It's a family place for me.
Oh, it's so good.
You know, but still on the weekends, it's the great party spot. You know,
It's my kids love.
I was gonna say, does that resonate with you?
Oh my gosh.
Being a business owner and having your kids.
My kids literally 2 weeks ago, the teachers were like, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" Both my kids, and this isn't. I
didn't
promise,
feed them this answer?
I wasn't programming them. I'm not sitting there being like,
you guys
"You're
get
gonna say
breakfast today if you say you want to open up a coffee shop.
this." No, they're both like, "Oh, we're gonna run the family business," and I'm all,
I love that.
That's
okay.
awesome.
Warmth.
So
much warmth.
You just feel like you're doing it right. You know, it's hard to kind of.
That's awesome.
It's hard to maintain it and keep the family balance, and sometimes you feel like you're failing a little bit because you're open so much and your kids are there, and you're like, "Am I ruining their childhood?"
Well, I agree, but they're at an age now, like my eldest that's 9, she'll grab a broom or a brush and she'll start sweeping. She wants to wash dishes. I'm like, relax, like you're 9 and chill.
Yeah.
Enjoy your childhood. Like, you know, I won't slave labor you just yet.
Give it a week.
Yet.
Yeah, just yet.
Get you to double-digit age and we'll talk.
But how amazing would that be if your kids did, you know, take over the family business, and it would be a dream come true if your kids were to live on your dream, but let them have their own too.
Oh, that's
what I mean?
Right.
I'm all about that, man.
Inspire them to do their own thing, but you have that creative side to be able to give that to them if they want to.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, the thing is with kids, if you push them, they're going to do the opposite.
Absolutely.
I think.
Oh, heck
And
yeah.
I don't
know.
like.
That's a fact.
My kid, my youngest Evelyn, she was watching the new Taylor Swift movie the other day, and like I could see stars in her eyes, and I said to her, you know, would you like to be a singer someday maybe? And she was like, yeah, I could do that. And I goes, you know, your dad's a singer, like it's achievable, like you could do it. And she was like, I don't know, we'll see, but I don't want to push anymore, because if she doesn't want to do it, I'm not going to be upset about it, but I would hate to push an agenda on my kids and then them not do it purposely because they're only grown.
And then resent you for it.
And then resent you for it.
Couldn't be
now, my eldest love the band. They go to Franklin School.
Great school.
And some kids in the class are wearing on-off shirts and stuff. So they come home sometimes, they go, oh, Lincoln was wearing your shirt today.
Awesome.
And I'm like, so sometimes it's fun, but I just, kids are so delicate these days, and there's so much distraction that it's like, you know what, if they learn an instrument, that's a blessing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Whereas when we were growing up, it was the norm.
Yep.
I felt, especially in Ireland, having a party trick, everybody had a trick, because when you got to family gatherings or whatever, like, do your magic trick or sing a song.
Do your thing. Yeah, sing a song.
Do your thing.
Go grab your fiddle. Go grab your fiddle.
I don't think they do that or enforce that into kids anymore. Like,
no, not as much as we should, right?
We should.
I love that. You gotta have a thing. Give me a little bit more of the background on the restaurant. When did that start? The conversation of, Pauly, you should really do this. To, okay, we're doing this.
Doing it.
What did that dream kind of?
I didn't, in the beginning, I didn't think I could do it by myself.
Sure.
And I put it out to a couple of friends of mine, and I'm like, you know, you want to partner up with this? And some people bit in the beginning and then backed off. And owning a bar and a restaurant, the profit margins are tiny.
Yep.
So bringing in multiple partners or even one partner, when I opened it, I had a business partner, but his lifestyle didn't match what it was. And he's a great guy, but it just wasn't for him. Sure. So I purchased his percentage off him, and it's solely mine now. But
good for you.
I had to be that way.
Yeah.
You know, but I needed help figuring it out. So I'll be forever grateful for that partnership with him.
Especially to get the doors open.
We got the doors open, but it was a different concept. I finally, in the last couple of months, figured out it's the way I want it now. But he wanted more of Red Robin type, franchise type.
Gotcha.
Families come, big meals, a big menu. I wanted authentic stuff, a small menu. I wanted to give them a taste of Ireland. And if it's going to be an Irish bar, you know, we can still sell the wings, we can still sell the burgers, but we should be pushing the shepherd's pie, the fish and chips. There's some great authentic dishes there. But the first thing I did when he packed up and shipped out was change the menu and you really just focus on the authenticity, and that has worked. That's so awesome. Much more.
That's awesome.
And
figure out what you're good at, right?
Well,
figure out your niche, what you're good at, and then perfect your craft.
Good buddy of mine, Jim King, he owns
Jim.
Rolling Stone, and he's a mentor for me throughout the whole process. He said to me recently, he goes, "Stay in your lane." He says, just stay, do.
It's the third time I've heard that today.
Yeah,
it's there's some magic there. Know what you're good at, master it. Don't get so spread out, big menu all over the place. Know what you're good at. Stay in your lane. There is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong.
That's how you master something.
You know, Hooligans has this amazing pizza oven, and a lot of people have said it's one of the best in town. And I'm like, everybody's, oh man, when are you doing pizza? I'm like, I've no interest in pizza. Go buy it from Jim. He's the best pizza. And then we've Dylan's right across the street.
Absolutely,
You know, a $10 pizza coming from us. I said, where is that in Irish?
Sure.
People were saying, I'll do a corned beef and cabbage pizza.
You're like, no.
So
don't force it just because you have a pizza.
So if a couple of people have came in and they're like, oh, why aren't you doing it? I'm like, Jim King is the best pizza in town. Go get it. He's a great guy. And if you don't know him, go check it out.
Absolutely.
How have we not had Jim on the show yet?
I'm just saying.
All right, we'll have Jim on.
All right.
Jim would be great.
Jim's the man.
He's a fantastic. Actually,
awesome.
Sachs, the chief of police in Marysville, just gifted him like a, and we're aware of how amazing you are award.
I love that.
Whatever
so
it was, appreciation award. So the people see his input into the community, which is what we were talking about just before we went live. This whole community of businesses, especially downtown and Plymouth Street, definitely we're all colleagues. We're all in it together, collaborating. The music store across the street, Justin, me and him yesterday talked all morning about collaborating on future events and making sure. Is it North or South Plymouth Street?
You're on South.
We're on South Plymouth, so bringing a bit more energy to South Plymouth Street.
Absolutely,
sure.
I feel the good energy is at the top of it, which is I know it sounds strange, but
well, there's more traffic, especially
20 versus Bridge.
It definitely has a lot more traffic, but I think that bringing back the life into the downtowns are dying, not just in our own town. Downtowns have been dying since these big box stores have been taking these spots. Like you're talking about the Red Robin, that mindset of we're just going to open up this big eatery, we're going to open up this big franchise and do it. And even that I know, there's a creamery in Roseville that they were known for being in the downtown, and they moved right across from the big box stores to kind of keep their doors open, and they're crushing it there
because
everybody's trafficking there. And I think it's a whole culture change that needs to shift.
Plymouth Street's amazing.
I love it.
And not to go back to the band, but we'd play all these little towns all over America, and they have a shopping district like that. And sometimes a little bit smaller, sometimes a little bit bigger, but there was always the community of bars and restaurants that all collabed to make sure it was clean, make sure foot traffic wasn't. I don't know if this is the place to get into it, but we have a massive problem on Plymouth Street with homeless.
Absolutely,
and I'm trying my best to help them, and I think our little shopping district there would be so much better if little sections of it were pedestrianized.
I get it,
like your section.
Sure,
pedestrianize that. Perfect.
Man.
They have that all around, like Vacaville. There's places like that. It's so close on our doorstep. But I think the community here might be in a little bit of a void of coming there, because right now there's so much influx of homeless people everywhere. And I'm trying my best to help. People tell me don't feed them, but it's hard to not to.
You feel like a monster every time you go to throw the garbage and you see a homeless guy there, and it's the same homeless person. We actually have we have a rule that we do. We give them $1 a cup of coffee. We're like, hey, $1 cup of coffee, 3 hours is the max. You can come in here, you're a customer, and then after that you need to go. When we shut down, we lock down. We even have a point now, we have a couple homeless people that'll actually look out for us. They're like, hey, so-and-so is trying to get in, but I got your back. I was like, I appreciate you.
And I do have a girl that lives in the car park, and it's a shame. I've tried to get her help 3 times. She refuses it. So I feel like there's 2 times and she refused it. So I think the 3rd time they can forcefully.
Yeah.
But this woman's sick.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not just
Yeah.
homeless.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's hard. 'Cause
You go into mental illness and drug addiction, and it's extremely hard.
It
right?
is.
You want to do everything that you can. At the same time, you have to protect the business.
Yeah.
And I was just having this conversation with my buddy Chris, who owns Lighthouse Barbershop in Marysville. In barbershop now in the state of California, there's a certain amount of you don't necessarily have to have a liquor license because of the salon. There's like a means of having like alcohol or
it's already a California state license board.
Correct. So there was a homeless gentleman who he had had a drink with effectively, and now that same individual is coming back more regularly, and is like, what's the trade-off between wanting to love on somebody, give them some water, throw them some food, and be kind, but at the same time, you don't want the storefront of Hooligans or Lighthouse Barbershop or Steelhouse Coffee to become that.
Well, I have to move them on. Too, because they're
and right there on the corner, right, and the outside seating.
Well, have you seen the movie or the show Baby Reindeer?
I don't think I have.
Right, so it's a crazy show, true story about.
Nice.
It's about a bartender, but the guy that's in the story wrote the story, directed it, and he's the actor in it.
Wow!
So it's on Netflix.
I'll check it out.
It's a true story about a guy that's a bartender, and he has these random people coming all the time, and he ends up calling them baby reindeers because once they latch on to something, and it's, unfortunately the homeless are like this, once they get a glass or a free meal, and it's like the vagabond stuff, they kind of mark your building, and people just rotate then, and it gets out into the underground community or whatever.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
But in this movie, in this documentary show, Baby Reindeer, it's about true story, but he's just trying to be a nice bartender, and he offers this woman a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and then that girl, blasted with mental health problems, just keeps returning, and then stalks him.
Wow.
And like, we have a thing in Hooligans where we're like, if you can notice someone's energy being a little bit too strong, we go, secretly we have a baby reindeer right now. And it's the same with the homeless community and the drug community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, like once they get something good, they cling on to it. And but I still have to help. It's in my nature, you know.
Yeah.
But
I think
it's a trade-off.
I think it's a disconnect, man. I think because the people writing the rules that work in the city don't understand the business side. They don't understand businesses. They also don't understand the mental health side for what's going on with these individuals. And I think there's just a total misconnection. And even to the point, if we were to fix homeless, we had a goal, we wouldn't achieve getting the homeless off the street now. We would have to prevent people from becoming
the next
exactly.
phase.
It's preventative.
And that's hard because as a business owner, you're like, I'm here every day. My spot's not changing. My back door, my garbage isn't moving anywhere. I want to be kind.
Well, I just, for me, and I don't know about the other businesses on Plymouth, but for me, where my dumpster is, it's hidden away in the back car park. And, you know, they make a house out of my dumpster. They throw tarp. They use it against the fence. And one of my neighbours, which I partner up with, we clean that car park twice a week. Because they're not clean folk, you know what I mean? So, but they hoard the trash, which is. But I know this is probably not the best conversation.
It's relevant.
It's relevant. And I clean up the trash, the hoarded trash. So it's sad because they go through a bag of trash and they take what they need and toss the rest everywhere. So that's the biggest problem for me is, as a business owner down there, it's like every day I come. I found a meth pipe on one of my benches there recently as well. And if any customer of mine, I was so mad about that because I'm like, and when I went and approached the homeless in the car park, of course they were like, "That's not mine," and I'm like, just make sure nobody leaves that stuff around.
Absolutely.
There's kids coming to my place.
Absolutely.
So that my biggest problem is cleaning it outside every day. You have to come and blow it, make sure there's no paraphernalia of any sort. So
the fact that you even have to, the fact that that's even part of your day is the bummer. You know,
well, it's just I
part
get
of it though.
I get it. It's part of it. It's part of the words. But
I was going to say, any just a segue, any amazing stories that you've had since you've been open? Like anybody that's like told you like an incredible story and an amazing experience that you've had?
So last night, and there's a bit of this I can tell, a bit of like camp, but I'll tell some of
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine.
Like most good stories.
Well, a good friend of mine and his wife, they come to the bar, and their kids do extracurricular stuff, taekwondo, karate and stuff. So they have a date night, and they come to the bar and eat and drink. And a great couple, they work for Homeland Security. And I hadn't seen this guy in a couple of weeks, but he was there last night, and he goes, "Hey, I have a story to tell you." And she tells me, he goes, "I've been on Trump duty in Mar-a-Lago for the past 6 weeks."
That's crazy.
And that's where he was gone. And I went, "Oh, fantastic. That's an amazing experience."
Yeah.
I didn't really get into too much about it. But he told me he hung out with Elon Musk for 2 weeks, right?
That's so
Elon Musk lived in the house along with Trump. And apparently Elon Musk loves a good dive bar. So my buddy ended up telling him about Hooligans. So who knows? What's going to come? But Hooligans I don't want to say it's a dive bar, but we will to Elon Musk if it gets get him in. Right?
Is it a dive bar? Do you like those?
Yeah.
If it is, yes, we are, believe it or not.
But they had a good conversation, and
That's awesome.
I just can't believe my name was brought up even in a conversation with Elon Musk.
That's so cool.
Isn't that cool?
It is pretty
that's
cool.
Awesome. And that just happened last night.
Happened last night.
There you go. You asked for a good story. Pauly's like, I got one less than 24 hours old,
now,
fresh off the press.
I don't know. My buddy was telling Elon, you got to come. But, people here say, say what they want. But in regards to other stories, like the bar is great. There's been some famous folk in there that have came, from the bands.
Sure.
Like they've got word of it and they want to come, and I don't know. It's when you're running a business, you're trying to be lawful.
I get it.
The whole time. So it's
trying.
I've had this disconnect there. I'd say about 2 months back, where I'm like, this I can't be drinking here. I can't be socializing. But then my staff, like they say, if you're not here, people will actually leave.
Sure.
Like people are coming to see me.
Yeah.
So if
I get that,
it's hard to be the life of the party all the time.
Oh yeah.
Does that resonate at all?
Oh, I have so many people going, when are you working?
Yeah.
And we'll see an uptick in sales because I'm there making coffee.
I love that you're there now, like all days on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yep.
Because you are, yes, as it is your and your wife's business, and
exactly.
Regina's incredible and everybody loves her.
Yeah.
But when you think Steelhouse Coffee, you think of Joe Steele, you think of you.
Yeah.
The namesake is yours.
And it's hard.
Sounds like the same.
Yeah, it's hard to find that balance too. Yeah. And there is that amount where I'll find myself where someone's like talking, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen this guy in forever. And I'm like, I really want to talk. And the line's going and I'm all,
like,
I'll be right. Yeah. I can, give me.
Gotta go.
Last Friday, we had 2 or 3 caterings there, and during the whole day, and I got in probably 9 a.m. and I fast forward 12 hours.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody, whoever was left. And I left, I got home. I was probably home about 15 minutes, and I got a video from my manager on site that day.
Yeah.
100 people just walked into this bar. I don't know if they got out of a Christmas party or
into Hooligans?
Walked into Hooligans.
Wow.
You need to come back.
You need to be here
right now.
Yeah.
And
yep.
I was laying in my bed, my dog looked in my face. I'm like, I'm not coming near this place. And then the next day was supposed to be the Christmas stroll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I woke up to that being cancelled.
Yeah.
But the videos that they sent me, like, there was this High Noon as a drink. I don't know if you know High Noon. They gave me a neon High Noon sign for the window. Awesome. Some girl pulled that off the wall and was going around like a ring girl with it in the bar. And the videos, another guy, Mexican cat, jumped up on a stool, took us, and I'm like, let's do it, let's go, So for me, it's
called Hooligans.
Yeah,
I need you guys to have a good time.
It's called Hooligans.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So it's fun. It's an Irish bar, so I do like a margarita. I do like a Bloody Mary. We've one of the best Bloody Marys you'll ever have. But if it's a packed bar and I'm walking and someone comes in and asks for a Bloody Mary, like, I literally turn around and go like, no. Like, do you want a whiskey?
Yeah.
Like, this is an Irish bar. And that can go positive or it can go negative.
Absolutely.
Sure.
It can sway.
Sure.
But there's a place in Vegas, the Rude Restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know
yeah,
where
where you've got to like,
I kind of want that vibe in Hooligans. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be rude.
I was looking
Sure.
for this.
But-
No, you don't. No.
Yeah.
No one has time for that.
No time for that. Here's a pint of whiskey.
Yeah.
Well, we can't sell that.
No.
But joking with them. I joke
yeah.
with them because it's like a lot of people that come to my bar have never really had a proper pint of Guinness.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, and you go to most restaurants, it's not in a proper tap with nitro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And my family all worked in Guinnesses. I worked for Guinnesses growing up.
Oh, that's amazing.
My grandfather was a cooper. He made the wooden kegs.
Wow.
And then my mom and dad worked there. I worked there. So pulling a pint.
You worked at the actual
factory
in Dublin. Mm-hmm. Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
And my job was during SARS. Do you remember SARS?
Wow.
So I had to be masked up,
Yep.
and we were getting all the kegs from Asia at the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
But we used to wash the kegs in acid. We'd have to wash them in bats of acid to
Yeah.
completely strip it of any
Anything.
pathogens or
Yeah.
anything, you know. But I loved my job in Guinness's. I loved it, right? Because we worked on this factory floor and they used to rotate out the young, like 13, 14, 15-year-olds trying to get their first job.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then I'd been working there for 2 or 3 years, so I had me feet in the ground, on the ground. We used to have random karaoke to the newbies. They'd join Monday, we'd say it's karaoke Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we used to have these steps up into the break room. And we tell them, you got to go up and sing your best karaoke.
This is the thing we do.
This is what we do, and it's your rite of passage.
We've been doing
you know,
it since the 1700s.
Right.
So I need you to get up there.
Yeah, and we'd wind these new kids up, and like they'd go up, and some of them would like fumble and crumble and run off,
Yeah.
and then someone would get up and just belt
Oh,
out
that's awesome.
some amazing song.
awesome.
That's so good.
But you would bring these new people out of their shell instantly.
That's so
you know. But not to go on about Guinness, but when I was telling you
love
about
it.
the acid,
Yeah.
So we'd wash this big massive factory,
Yeah.
and I'm talking about 80,000 kegs,
Wow.
in it, and we'd probably wash, clean, and prep 40,000 a day, right?
Whoa.
Which where I was working, massive factory, but we washed them in these acid baths. Now the acid was like a gel, like a see-through gel, but we'd have to wear big,
Oh, I bet.
big gloves, Wellingtons,
Yeah.
and suits like hazmat suits,
I've seen Breaking Bad.
right? Exactly.
Exactly.
That's how we looked, right?
Yeah.
And especially with SARS going on. But that acid, it was late. There was a delay in it. So if you put it on your skin, it would burn about 15 to 30 seconds later, right?
That makes
But
sense,
when
yeah.
you wash it off with just water, it's gone.
Yeah.
Right? But it would burn if it was left there. So the newbies, we would fill the wellies with the acid. And then they come into work, they put the wellies on, and they go out into the work floor. By the time it seeped through the socks,
Oh my
because
gosh.
it's Ireland as well, it's cold, so we'd be double socked.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no.
And then you'd see these guys like running across the factory floor and literally diving into these bats of water where we'd wash the kegs. But like we'd play pranks on each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
See the gloves, like these big rubber gloves, we'd put the acid in the gloves.
Oh my god.
Put the gloves on. So I know I'm getting rambling.
No, I love it.
I love that.
I loved working in Guinness's.
Yeah.
That's
Completely illegal, all what I was
Oh
saying,
no, yeah.
but great time.
Resin
But
each other, man.
The reason why I'm saying the Guinness thing, it's really important for me to serve the perfect pint.
Yeah.
It has to be the perfect pint, right? And I'm actually getting people saying, wow, it's in the Guinness glass, it's properly poured. And
what do they call it? Splitting the
splitting the G
splitting
is
the
the
G?
thing, right?
Yeah.
So when I opened the bar, a good friend of mine, Kyle, done this. He comes to me, and I didn't hear about this splitting the G thing. I knew nothing about it. And it started trending in Europe a little over a year ago. But Kyle came to me and he told me about it, and then I leapt at it because it's like, here we go.
Yep. More lore.
Marketing.
Jumping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing, right? So, and when I researched it then, and a guy, what sold it for me, I love mountaineering, right? I'll never climb anything, but I love watching shows about
Oh, yeah.
Everest,
Yep.
K2, all this stuff.
Yep.
I found out an Irish guy climbed to the top of Mount Everest and split the G on Everest.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
Everest.
That for me now is my story. Anybody that comes and asks, I go, well, an Irish guy did it on the top of Mount Everest.
Mount Everest. So
But
You need to do it at sea level.
exactly. Now, have you ever tried?
I haven't.
Come and let
I
me
will.
pour on the house. Same.
Oh, you got it, man.
You've tried it.
I have. Oh, it's so good.
I'll be there.
But we in Hooligans, there's 2 bathrooms, and then there's one in the back in the venue area. But the one with the 2 now is going to be the Hall of Fame for splitting the G's.
I love it.
Everybody that does it is going to go in all over it.
Oh,
I love
that's
it, man.
awesome.
That's so good.
Yeah, we've about 40 people have done it so far.
Wow.
So I'm backlogged with photographs.
I'm in.
Love it, man.
I'm in.
Come, whenever you're ready, come.
in.
Yeah.
And then as it's so what year or how old were you when you came to the States?
So I married a girl here from Yuba back in 2009, I think, 2010.
Yeah.
But we toured around Europe. She came back out on the road, and we ended up living in Ireland for another 4 years. And then a record label were trying to sign us in Germany. And then my ex-wife was like, do you want to go to Germany? It's cold, and we can go to California. I didn't know the California music industry. I thought it was going to be a lot bigger than what I came to see.
More prestigious.
Yeah, I think California is amazing. Like, to answer your question, I'm here 13 years, but when we came 13 years ago, we were so young and dumb and naive and didn't know the scene. And I thought punk rock and like the Warped Tour and all that thing.
Yeah.
When we read that in magazines or on YouTube,
Oh,
it was still a popular thing.
Yeah.
When we came to California, we realized it was full of dying 80s rock bands and tribute bands. And it was like, for a band like us to try and get in what would be a normal booking in Europe, we're competing with ZZ Top tribute bands, and it's like ZZ Top are still playing at the time. You know what I mean? So for me, cover bands and tribute bands are amazing, right? I'm not trying to,
no.
I'm not trying to diss them,
There's
but
talent to it.
it's it becomes the over-generated stuff, like the top 40 of 70s, 80s, 90s, and the regurgitation of it over and over again. I was like, wow, this is a competition. This is the competition here.
Absolutely.
Not new, up-and-coming original bands.
I remember I was doing some video work, and I had a guy was a Neil Diamond impersonator. And I was thinking, what? This is weird. He saw some of my video stuff, said, I want you to do a job. I was like, okay. I was not expecting I didn't know what to expect. He rented out a theater in Orville. I got the job. I went in there and set up some cameras, and he comes out in his full duds. And I'm like...
Makes me think of the movie Saving Silverman.
He's got tracks behind him, and he's going.
He's giving it.
And he's not even like... And these are guitar tracks. He's got a guitar, and he's holding it.
He's playing.
And he's pretending to play. And he's just...
You have the blue tracksuit on?
Yes.
Top to bottom?
Yes. Yeah. And he was just like...
Sweet.
Yeah. We are diamonds in the rough.
And I was just like, okay. And we got done, and the amount of women in their 60s and 70s going like, I love you, Neil Diamond, and he's signing, he's kissing. And like, there was no one under the age of 40 in that entire place. Yeah. And he packed it. It was 250 people.
Yeah. There's a time and place for it.
So they've a joke about an Irish guy that's very similar to Neil Diamond. His name is Daniel O'Donnell. But they say, how do you know you're at a Daniel O'Donnell concert? So I'll use Neil Diamond. How do you know you're at a Neil Diamond concert?
How?
The first 3 rows smell like piss. No, I know that's probably a terrible joke.
No, that's an amazing joke.
That's awesome.
I worked for Neil Diamond one time, right?
Really?
And I did Spotlight for him. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So I used to work for a production company in Ireland, and we'd build stages.
Yeah.
Now, I'd come in after the welding, and we'd fit the lighting and the PA.
Love it.
And then, depending on the crew boss, local crew, they would assign us different positions when the show was live. And most of the time I'd just be in a hammock sleeping. But a few times I've done Spotlight for some big acts. Bruce Springsteen was one of them. But Neil Diamond was like so old on stage, like he barely moved.
Yeah.
Like, but easy.
Yeah.
Just spot, he didn't move. But like Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The complete opposite.
Oh my God.
Everywhere he went, I had to
Where'd he go?
This spot.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
He's picking out kids out of the audience and presenting them like Simba. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So you know, I don't even know how I got Neil Diamond.
We were talking about Neil Diamond, yeah.
But yeah, building the crews and building stages, that was another job I loved. I loved doing that, you know.
I was dumbfounded. I saw Sammy Hagar and Joe Satriani.
Recently.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Sammy, that guy had so much energy. I was like, how are you still fit, super fit, and was just running?
That was the amphitheater, right? Everyone said that was amazing.
It was incredible.
I was so bummed I missed that.
I had a buddy who he's like, oh, I love rock and roll. I was like, all right. He's all, yeah, I've never listened to Joe Satriani too much, you know. And I was like, all right. So we go, and he had been going to a lot of cover bands, a lot, you know, and even it wasn't like true punk bands. It was more like cover stuff or emo nights and stuff. And so when he got to hear Joe Satriani destroy the guitar effortlessly, track after track after track, he was just like, I've never seen a show like this. I was like, this is musicianship through.
So bummed I missed that. I said, will it come around again? I don't know. You know, there's a lot. Same thing with Willie Nelson, I suppose. He played this summer too, and I missed out on that as well because we're never going to get that again.
No. He's hitting that age where you're like, all right, Willie,
the
stick around, man.
The eclipse is passing. I don't think he's coming back.
I don't know, like it's not to go back onto the tribute thing. Like,
sure,
you were mentioning there about the Neil Diamond, and people actually think he's him in a way,
yes,
and they're looking for autographs. When I was like 20. I was in a Green Day tribute band, and we did the eyeliner and the tie.
I love it, man.
The whole thing.
Black shirt, red tie.
People really believed we were Green Day. Like,
yeah.
You know, and you just got to laugh it off.
You do.
But when you're signing an autograph and you're writing your name, and then they go, what's that? And you go, I'm looking for Billy Joe's.
Yeah.
And well, I'm not him.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You know? But that's a true story.
I apologize. We are a tribute band.
Yeah, but you know, the money's in the tribute game.
Yes,
it really is.
Well, and they fill up the hotels.
They absolutely.
They fill up the Vegas Strip. There's a lot of tributes, and then all of the cruise ships.
Yeah,
it's normally what tributes do you have on there? It's crazy when you think about it.
One of my managers he still works with us, Dan. He wrote me there a couple of months back, actually mentioning the Green Day thing again, going, dude, if you restarted that and moved to Vegas, you'd be a millionaire in 6 months.
Yep, absolutely.
And I was like, no, it sounds like hell.
No.
You know?
No.
But
you don't want to wear jeans that tight and wear eyeliner for the rest of your life.
I don't wear the eyeliner. I do wear the tight jeans, but
yeah, you're good.
No, I don't, you know what? It's like I've been Vegas. I don't have no interest.
Yeah. No.
You know? Actually,
I
picked my friend up just there this morning off the airport, and he was in Vegas 2 weeks ago, and he got sick on the plane on the way there. He spent 5 nights in a hotel vomiting, and then jumped on a plane back. And he said, I'm never going to Vegas again.
I'm never going back.
And I was like, was it because you were sick? And he was like, well, yeah, I was sick, but it's also because I could feel the energy. Even if I was not sick, I didn't want it.
No, for
I'm
sure.
over that stage in my life, you know. Yeah. And it's been a while since I've been to Vegas.
Time and a place.
I don't know. You get to a point in your life where peace and quiet is the best vibe you can capture, you know.
Your kids are how old?
9 and 6.
Yeah. I've got at home I've got boy, girl, boy. I've got a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old, right? So rewind 5.5, almost 6 years ago, there are different things that kind of get you going. Whereas now, like getting home from work and some Michael Bublé playing or something like that, chill, Frank Sinatra Christmas album, and then just like relaxing and wrestling with my kids. Yeah, that is like the highlight now.
Exactly. Like, it might sound like a woman here, which is all right. But like,
it's good, man.
I says to my girl the other day, I said, we've so many people we need to get gifts for, and I was just like, let's just bake with the kids, and just make a load of random
I love that.
desserts and just give everybody desserts.
Perfect.
And she was loving it, and we're planning for that this Sunday. So the whole day I'll cook dinner, but we'll just bake. Everybody, you'll be getting something.
Okay, awesome, man.
We're in.
I'm just saying, it's like the things that I'm 39, so like rewind 5 years ago, like all that I wanted to do was be backstage at a festival drunk.
Yeah,
you know, and now
life changes.
A friend of mine gave us artist passes for Aftershock this year, right? I went
in Sacramento.
Yeah, I went the Thursday, I hung out with Cypress Hill for about 2 hours
Nice.
and left, and I'll never go again. Do you know what I mean?
Just
Because
so-
it was an
Getting out of
amazing
that,
experience, but I've done it so much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In my life, where
Over
it's- oh my God, it was
Yeah.
great. I actually brought 3 or 4 people with me that from the bar. I brought me head cook and my front of house manager.
That's awesome.
And they've never had a buzz like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where you're literally in the inner circle of VIP,
Yeah.
you know? Like we were sitting there with the Slayer guys, the Pantera guys. We were smoking with the Cypress Hill guys.
That's awesome.
They invited us up on stage. We stood side stage, literally watching Cypress Hill. When they walked off the stage, they fist bumped us and hugged us. And to me, it was just like, this is fine, let's go eat.
Yeah.
But to everybody else,
They
who
were
They were
starstruck.
just like, this isn't normal. You know, it's
Yeah.
not normal. But
Yeah. Well, you were in the industry. You
Yeah,
understood it.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was part
my
of the back
whole
end.
life. Like,
Yeah.
You're a little more calloused. to
Yeah,
the,
like
oh
I-
my gosh.
I don't know. It's just, when I was younger, I was playing music. I got hired on as a hired gun,
Yeah.
a pretty boy gun. I was 18 or 19, and a guy in Ireland won the equivalent to America's Got Talent, Ireland's Got Talent, or whatever
Sure.
it was. He had the #1 record out at the time, and I got the gig as his lead guitar player.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, he was my age when I was that age, right?
Yeah.
But we got to hang out with people like the Killers,
Yeah.
the Rolling Stones, any big act that would come into Ireland, he'd get the support. We played like the opening and closing ceremony of the Special Olympics when they were in Ireland.
Wow, that's awesome.
We went on before U2,
Wow.
you know, like stuff like that. When you're that age, you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like
yeah.
you're
Oh.
grinning.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
but then the more you get into it, and the more you realize like these people are just people, and
Yes.
they're just trying to get home to their bed with their dog to bake
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm just kind of, I'm not saying I'm over it. There's talk of us going out on tour now in January and February. And then like I'm all for it, but I'm also like,
You can live with it or
I
without
can
it.
live without it now.
Yeah, yeah.
I felt like for a long time I couldn't though.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be in that
Yeah.
space.
It becomes
Especially,
your identity.
yeah.
right?
Well, with the bar,
Yeah.
that created a nice comfort zone for me in my life. I really
Yeah.
do feel that. It's still a lot of work to be done, but for once I have something that's mine that I don't need to be dependent on a big production company,
Yeah.
a PR company, the band, the managers, the crew. It can be stressful.
Sure.
So sometimes it's like when you do have them moments with other people, they're on the same vibe. Like Be Real, the singer from Cypress Hill, me and him kicked it for a good bit, and he was saying the same thing. He's like, dude, we're leaving here in about 20 minutes. I'm jumping on a plane and we're going over halfway through the States.
Yep.
And it's going to start all over again. And I just can't wait to be asleep on that flight.
Yep.
And I get it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that
it's,
resonates with you for sure.
but now being at a bar, it's like you're stuck to this place.
Yeah.
So there's the yin and the yang of
Well,
it.
you've got an anchor.
absolutely.
You also have an anchor, and you have your family anchor as well.
Yeah.
And there's nothing's gonna fix, like nothing's gonna change that. And that is so much more satisfying
Yeah.
than going out, going to a spot, seeing a bunch of strangers singing, having that moment, and going, oh, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Freaking
Well, I'm sure, like, I've never been stuck
Yeah.
in my life, but I'm enjoying that.
enjoy it, man.
But I'm sure, fast forward
Oh,
6
Oh,
months,
yeah.
and
Sure.
I'm gonna be gone.
Let
Let me out of
Can we go? Can we go?
Yeah,
Can we
'cause
go?
The band, like, we're playing our last show this Saturday at the Goldfields.
Yeah.
And last show of the year, we did a lot this year with the band, but nothing normal or
Yeah.
nothing out of the normal. It's the same kind of tour year we
Sure.
normally do. But it's for me, I just feel like we needed this hiatus, needed this break. The two guys become loving dads.
Yeah.
We've all had a little space away from each other. But getting back into rehearsals last week and this week, we hadn't played music for nearly 3 months together.
Wow.
But the energy was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't bottle that.
No.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just, and you can't explain it either.
Yeah.
No.
3 people that have been connected like 20 plus years.
It's incredible.
When we got back into the room, the power and everything was amazing. And tomorrow is our last final rehearsal before Saturday. But when we go into rehearsals, it's like we end up just talking about our kids now because
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's
I
so
love
good,
that.
man.
yeah, the muscle
that.
memory
Yeah.
of doing 20 plus years of playing this stuff.
Sure.
You know what you're doing.
You know what we're doing.
Yeah. But
so it's wild.
the magic is there because everybody was able to go home
And relax.
get that time in. You guys are going to be more symbiotic
Yeah.
together now, having those individual experiences.
Yeah, the recharge is
It's everything.
huge.
something not to.
It's everything.
Yeah, it really is.
So let's land the plane here, my man.
Yeah,
Because
man.
I know we
I don't
could
want to.
talk
I
for
just want to
hours.
keep on going.
I know, I'm
man.
a talker.
No,
Bro.
Likewise.
I
We're
got-
going to have to have you back on for sure.
The fact that, I mean, come on, you can't open up an Irish pub and not be a talker.
Yeah, yeah. The gift
You
of the
can open
gab.
it. It'll probably close pretty
I'm just
Yeah.
being real, man.
Well, I know you're trying to close it up, but the Blarney stone in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
Jim King. I have a picture of Jim King kissing the Blarney stone on the wall.
Oh my gosh.
So like he went recently to Ireland and he ended up hooking up with cousins of mine, like, and they brought him all around different
that's
places. And when he came back, one of my cousins sent a little key and went, "Your cousin told me to give you that. It's the key to her heart." And it's like, it melted me.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm giving you this. This is me kissing the Blarney stone. So have you ever heard of that? I'll make it
Yeah.
quick because I know
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind
you know,
of-
I have
but
heard of
you
it.
kiss it, it gives you the gift of the gab. But when I used to tour around Ireland, anytime we go to the Blarney stone, we'd always seem to end up there at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
And there was
Good
always some local guy taking a piss on the
Yeah.
the stone. And then unfortunately all these tourists come
Yeah.
the next morning and
Pucker up.
kiss
Yeah.
her up and kiss the stone. So Jim came super proud about that, and I was like, did it smell when you were down there? And he was like, no.
And
No.
you're like, okay,
No.
maybe there was rain.
Did you wash up?
Yeah. So I have that on the wall. But anyway, the gift of the gab. The Irish love to
gab.
talk.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, thanks so much for joining us,
Yeah,
man.
no,
This is absolutely
it was
amazing.
an honor, fellas. Thank you.
We'll definitely do it again, man.
Yeah.
We got to keep up with what's going on. If you haven't, go out to Hooligans, support him. His band On Off, they're doing what you said.
Goldfield Saturday.
Goldfield
It's a big
Sacramento.
fundraiser, really, for some fundraising thing.
If you, but I'll be honest.
That is the pitch.
That's
No, it's
perfect.
official. But no,
Listen to On Off if you haven't listened to them, man. They're amazing. My brother James he's one of your biggest fans now, and
and he's
he's
great.
listening to he's like, did you hear they just dropped a new spot on YouTube? I'm listening to it. I was like,
I
all
love that.
right, man.
I love that.
So listen to On Off, go support Hooligans, stick local, and we'll catch you on the next one, guys.
Thank you, fellas.
Thanks, brother.
Got it, man. Awesome. Cut. Thank you for checking out the Cam and Joe Show.
If you guys are liking our content so far, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can also listen to us on Spotify.